Because of this, we know that we must make sure people stay prepared when it comes to getting the warnings and having a place to stay safe. According to researchers at Auburn University, 19 of the 23 people that died in the storm were in a mobile home. Mobile homes are affordable places to raise a family, but they should never be the place one stays when a tornado threatens. Beauregard, you're all going to be under the gun. Notice, Olga, for this. If this storm continues this track, you have time now. You are not under a warning now. If you lived in a mobile home in these areas, this would be the time where you would want to think about where can I get to within the next 10 or 15 minutes where I can kind of shelter in place until this thing moves through.
This warning was given during our wall-to-wall coverage about 45 minutes before damage in Beauregard. This is important because for those that live in vulnerable locations like a mobile home, the time to seek shelter is well before the warning is issued.
We wish everybody would get up and go somewhere safer if they're in a vulnerable location, but the truth is people don't usually do that.
Now it's something that we definitely have to plan for as soon as we hear a watch.
Jordan Malik, his wife and daughter were seeking shelter in their mobile home in Beauregard when the second tornado of the day crossed into Lee County.
I've lived through tornadoes before, and I told my wife, I said, that's it, it's coming.
The experience was terrifying. The family lost parts of their roof, had damage to the siding, and had many downed trees on their property.
I honestly thought in my mind, I'm like, we're going to be flying through the air any minute now. You're in that dark closet and you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to be living in a few minutes.
Jordan said the experiences have empowered him to rethink their safety plan, making sure to always evacuate to another shelter. He says for them, a hotel or shelter on Auburn's campus is the only option now, since they have to take their pets with them. He's also looking into options for an underground shelter on his property, something close and more convenient.
If your family's life is at risk, you're going to do everything you can to save them.
In the weather community, we know the violence these storms can bring to the table, sometimes in a short amount of time.
It went from a fairly weak tornado to a killer, violent tornado fairly quickly.
In a tornado situation, you just don't have the time. And so we're trying to figure out the best way to get shelters that are within steps of someone in these areas.
Senator Jones is one of several politicians exploring options on a state and federal level that may be able to get shelters to vulnerable areas. Unfortunately, even if grants are available for those kinds of shelters, you still have to pay the cost of it up front and may not be reimbursed for the full amount. And while the university, some churches, and other private businesses provide a great service by opening their doors when the watch comes out, many folks either don't know or don't take advantage of that shelter.
It's really difficult to make sure that we get everybody to take appropriate action, and that's because of their experience. They have lived through these plenty of times before and nothing really happened.
That's the culture people all across the warning process are trying hard to change.
I think sometimes, we're scientists, we're meteorologists, we think we know all the answers. And I think part of it is we need to go to where the folks are, and we need to communicate. We need to ask them, like, what ways can we better communicate? What ways can we better reach your family?
To the people listening that live in mobile homes, and it's no knock against mobile homes because I live in one, but please try to get yourself to a safe place.
Now, for those thinking about the public shelter option, one shelter that holds around 90 people would cost about $150,000. Now, to have enough space to include all 154,000 residents of Lee County, well, that would take a taxpayer investment of more than $250,000. Not a viable option financially.
Yeah, and we continue to concentrate on those vulnerable locations because most tornado deaths occur in these structures.